What's going on, guys, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris, and today we're going to bring you a little bit different of an episode. Today is 10 things that every whiskey collector needs, and you're going to want to stick around because a lot of people forget about number 10. Let's do this. So here we go. Number 1, what does every whiskey collector need outside of the actual whiskey in their collection? That's going to be a Glencairn. You absolutely have to have at least one of these, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, but you definitely need Glencairns in your collection. What Glencairns are going to do, they're going to allow you to smell your whiskeys, get a little bit different of a flavor profile. You can swirl it in these, and everything about these basically makes you look like a badass when you're drinking whiskey. These Glencairns are awesome. They're usually pretty cheap. I'll make sure to put a link in the description down below on where I get mine. Straight off Amazon, you get them 6 in a box, sometimes 12 in a box, whatever you want to do. But these Glencairns are absolutely something that you need in your collection if you're going to be a whiskey drinker. 1, to look cool, and 2, because they definitely help make sure that you can pick out some of the flavor profiles and start nosing your bourbons a little bit more sophisticatedly. Number 1 is going to be a Glencairn. Let's get to number 2. So the second thing that you're definitely going to want to have is a little bit controversial for a lot of people. These are the stones that you can add to your freezer. These are granite stones. Usually they come in these cool different shapes. Some are spheres, some are the squares. But you put these in your freezer, they get super cold. And what the cool thing about these are is when you put them in your drink, when you want to cool down your drink a little bit, they don't melt. So you're not going to add any water to your drink. You're not going to water down a very good bourbon. But the bad thing about these, and the reason that people do not like these, is because they don't stay very cold for long. If you have a room temperature bourbon and you put one of these freezing cold stones in it, if you don't drink it quite quick enough, it might get back to room temperature faster than you would like it. But these are definitely still something you want to have in your collection, just because 1, I really think that I like the fact that it doesn't water down your drink when you're trying to do it. And 2, you can keep them in the freezer. You don't have to worry about them taking up too much space. They usually come with a nice little bag like this as well. So these whiskey stones are the second thing that you're going to want to add into your collection if you are a whiskey collector. So that's going to be the first 2 things you need. And what's the third? Obviously, you're going to need a rocks glass. These are a set of rocks glasses that I have. I have plenty of different rocks glasses. Manitani here. We have our Flyers rocks glass. We don't have a Sixers rocks glass yet, but we should get one pretty soon. And if you don't have one of these, I don't know what you're doing. When you don't want to come home and sniff your bourbon, maybe it's a long day after work and you want to throw 2 ounces in a glass, this is what you're going to want to use. The sophisticated ones for special occasions. Maybe you're watching your favorite team, get your favorite team on one as well. Put an ice cube in this, throw a little bit of water. However you want to drink your bourbon is the right way to drink it. Make an old fashioned, plenty of room in here to muddle some stuff up. But you're definitely going to want to have rock glasses in your collection. If not 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe 8. However many you think you want. I have Tiffany & Co. ones that I got as a wedding gift as well that I only break out for special occasions. But you're definitely going to want a rocks glass if you're thinking of having any type of whiskey collection. Grab yourself a few of these. So the fourth thing every whiskey collector should obviously have is going to be a custom decanter. This one here has the L on it for my last name. This is awesome. It's got this nice little ball that stops on it right at the top here. I only fill this up with maybe stuff like when people are going to come over, or my daily sipper will go in this. When I need to make a little bit more room on the shelf, I'll throw it in this so I can get rid of a bottle up there and keep this on like a bar cart if you have a bar cart, or maybe just keep it here on the bar for yourself. But this is obviously a very important thing to have. A lot of people make infinity bottles where they'll just pour in the little bit that's left in each of their bottles to fill this up. Keep a list of the things that you put in your infinity bottle. Then you made yourself a special type of bourbon that nobody else has ever tried before. So a decanter is very important for both infinity bottles or just for your daily sipper, or when guests come over, you can put it in this. Again, it looks a lot more sophisticated when you're sipping bourbon out of a decanter. That's number 4. Let's get to number 5. So the 5th thing every whiskey collector needs is an ice mold. Now you can go get the cheap ones off of Amazon, or you can get one of these really cool ones from wintersmiths.com that make perfectly clear ice cubes. This uses directional freezing so that the ice cubes that you do get are perfectly clear every time. You get cubes, you can get balls, you can get small balls, you can get big balls, you can get small cubes, you can get big cubes. They have tubes that you can store them in and everything. But take a look at exactly how this works, and take a look at these ice cubes at the end. So that's one of my favorite ways to drink a higher proof bourbon. If I really don't like the heat on it, I will take a big ice cube like that. It melts a lot slower in the glass, so you're not as concerned about watering it down, and you can take your time and actually enjoy the sip. Make sure you get yourself an ice cube maker. So the sixth thing that you're really going to want to go out and grab, and this is something that I highly recommend, especially to newer bourbon drinkers or whiskey drinkers in general. This is a bourbon nosing kit. This comes in and it has all different types of flavors and everything that you can smell, so you can really start to appreciate what each bourbon has. This has vanilla, chocolate, honey, caramel, brown sugar, cherry, black pepper, mint, clove, allspice, leather, tobacco, corn, rye, wheat, which are usually your three main grains, cinnamon, oak, and peanut. And this thing is absolutely a game changer when it comes to tasting your bourbons. You really start to appreciate all the flavors that are in it. And without this, I can tell you right now, I would not be able to pick out half of the flavors that I find in my bourbons without using this first. They give you directions and everything. This one is straight off of Etsy. I'll make sure to link it down below. I'll also give you a quick close-up of this so you can see exactly what's involved. But even just opening up this lid makes me want to pour up a glass of bourbon, so let's do that. So I already have 2 nosing bourbon kit videos out now. I'm going to do a third video, and basically you take your bourbon, you smell it, you smell what's in the bourbon nosing kit, and then you smell your bourbon again, and it really accentuates that flavor profile. So if you do find it in the bourbon, it'll really pull it out and you'll really get to appreciate it. Grab yourself a bourbon nosing kit. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Whether you're new to bourbon or you've been in it for a while, this is really going to help you get into those flavor profiles just a little bit more. This one's awesome. I'll put it in the link below. So the 7th thing on this list is something that's not nearly talked about enough in the whiskey bourbon world, and that is this. This is from Dr. Brown's, and in this house we call this the Glen Cleaner, because that's what this does. This cleans our Glencairn glasses, because quite frankly, it's almost impossible to get to the bottom of this glass without using this, and it fits perfectly. I'll try and find it and put it in the link below. I forget exactly where I got it, but you put a little bit of soap in this. When you drink at night, maybe you drink a glass, you have your Glencairn, and you leave just that tiniest little bit of bourbon in the bottom. It gets a little solid at the bottom because it's a lot of syrup and a lot of sugar in there. So when you try and clean this, you can't get that little dot off the bottom. Trust me, I used to not have one of these things. You run hot water in it, you waste a bunch of water running all the hot water. This thing is absolutely perfect. The little bristles clean the side. This gets everything right off the bottom. A little bit of soap, a little bit of hot water, you're back to new. I don't like to put these in this dishwasher or anything because they're very fragile. When you put it in there with a bunch of other things, you tend to lose one or two. So Glen Cleaner is definitely something that you need. Again, this is Dr. Brown's. I don't even know what this tool is called, but this is awesome. I love it in this house. Without this, I don't know how I would clean my Glencairns, especially when I do like a flight board or something. And that way I have like 3 or 4 of these lined up and I got to clean them all. So get yourself one of these. You won't be mad about it. The 8th thing that you're going to need, speaking of flight boards, is a flight board. Get yourself a couple of these. I have a 3-hole. I have a 4-hole. These things are absolutely awesome. They look awesome. They have the actual buckle straps from the barrel on there. You have the chard inside here. You have the chard outside there. You put your Glencairns on here. Like I said, this is the 3-hole. We have a 4-hole as well, and these things are crazy cool. When you're doing a flight, maybe you want to pour up a couple of different ones for your buddies. You put it on this, you put this on your bar, and you're going to look like a whiskey connoisseur. They're not going to understand why you have. You're going to get a great story behind some of these. Some of them that people make, they're going to tell you exactly what the barrel was aging, what was in it. You can get different kinds. You can get Rabbit Hole Distillery, you can get Buffalo Trace Distillery. People are making these and they are good at it, and I absolutely love my flight boards. I'm glad I got a couple of them myself. If you are a whiskey collector, make sure you have a flight board or two. You won't be disappointed. So what's that bring us up to? I believe we're on number 9, and that is going to be a cocktail kit. You're definitely going to want to get yourself a cocktail kit because these things are how you're going to make your Manhattans, your Old Fashions, and everything along those lines. Comes with a jigger, comes with shot glasses, comes with your shaker cups so you can shake up your drink. Don't forget your muddler. Don't forget your cocktail spoon. Everything that you need to make a delicious cocktail using your bourbon whiskeys. Any type of whiskey that you want to use. Even if you're not drinking bourbon, you know, even if you're not drinking whiskey, if you're drinking at all, you should definitely have one of these cocktail kits. They're all over online. You can get different kinds. I love everything that I have in mine. It's exactly what I need. Take all these, get your Luxardo cherries, put them all together, and you got yourself a great old-fashioned or a Manhattan if you're into that. Speaking of which, along with your rocks glasses, get yourself a little Manhattan glass because, again, it looks cooler. You look more sophisticated. But a bar kit is what you're going to need. Don't forget your muddler, and don't forget your cocktail spoon. These two are always important, and sometimes not every kit comes with it, so get yourself some of these as well. This is number 9. And last but not least, the most important thing that every whiskey collector needs is a friend to drink with. That's right. If you have all these bottles behind you and nobody to share it with, no stories to tell, no games to watch together, then why even have the collection at all? Make sure when you are collecting, if you're the collector in your group, you are very important to that group, because everybody wants to get into bourbon right now, but not everybody knows exactly what they're looking for. So they're going to come over to your house, they're going to try a bottle, they're going to try 2 bottles, they're going to get samples, they're going to do a flight board, and they're going to find out exactly what they liked. My stepfather-in-law, he's the one that got me involved in bourbon. I went over to his house. He has a whole table of bourbon over there. I picked up a bottle. I tried it. If I liked it, I went out and bought my own. If I didn't like it, I knew that I could leave that one on the shelf and save myself a little bit of money. So you are the key to this friend group getting into bourbon. Get your friends involved. Let them try your bottles. Don't be stingy with the good stuff. Give them the Blantons, give them the Stags, give them the Weller, all that stuff that you have. It's there for a reason. It's there to be drank. It's there to be shared. And don't be one of these guys that's just collecting bourbon so it can sit on the shelf and maybe you'll sell it for a profit one day. It's meant to be drank, so open it up. But that's it for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Join us on Discord. We're always chatting over there about different whiskeys and bourbons that are coming out. And make sure you check out the Patreon as well. If you want to help support the channel, that's the best way to do it. In the meantime, don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Stay drinking. Cheers, y'all.